Well, look at this. A late night video. It's just going to be a short one. Hello, Damien. Yes, clickbait indeed. Um, Jeff Darrow was on the Kayfabe channel on Sunday. They've been doing this thing lately where they're getting creators on and they're going through some of their work. In this case, they were going through all 3 issues of Hard Boiled with Mr. Darrow. And he was talking about it and talking about the creation of it and looking at the art and telling stories, and it was great. So one of the things he talked about was the character Bourbon Thret. This is one we've talked about before. This was, I think, his final Bourbon Thret strip, this seed. There was collections put out. I think it's called Comics and Stories. So anyway, we're not here to look at this one. We're here to look at something else. So in the kayfabe video, he talks about Bourbon Thret appearing in Heavy Metal magazine. This issue here, as a matter of fact, I went and found this today. There's one shop in town that's got a stack of Heavy Metal magazines, mostly kind of like from the 90s and 2000s, but he did have a nice stack from 84 and 85. Actually bought like 10 issues because he had them priced at like $2.50, $3 a piece. So in 1984, Metal Hurlant does I think what I read was about a 4-page Bourbon Thret story. And then the following year, so March 1985, the Heavy Metal reprints that and has some stuff added to it. I don't know the full story on exactly what was added or if it was already in existence, but Metal Hurlant didn't want to publish it or not. Either way, this is it. Also, just quickly, the bus working girl. I love Kirshner's. I always enjoy. It's one of the highlights for me personally going through these heavy metals. The bus. So this is a working girl. So it's kind of like Miss March. So it's a pinup. This caption here: I pick men up right off the street sometimes. I like a man who can pay his own way, who knows where he's going. Looks aren't important. So nice. So here it is, Mr. Jeff Darrow. That lighting is kind of shit. Let's see if we can fix that a bit here. Let's see if that's going to do anything more. Get that light a little closer. Come on, you. Need some lights here, people. Let's see if I can make this work. All right, well, I guess that's as good as it's going to get. Quite a bit different than other stuff. I mean, obviously, this is earlier on in Darrow's career, so you can see similarities to Shaolin Cowboy, of course. But this really has a Mobius type of vibe to it, and he's really choosing this angle. It always reminds me of doing blueprints, like doing architectural type drawings or stuff like that when I was a kid, working with the draftsman at the steel shop. And you always had to do that kind of this sort of top front view so you could get this 3D image. So he does that quite a bit in here. One of the things I noticed right off is while the panels are still at times dense with characters, there's not as much in the way of like gags going on. It's just kind of people sitting and eating. There's not a single dog taking a shit anywhere that I could find. So they look still pretty lively for the most part. but you could tell that he's sort of still kind of, I don't know if getting used to it is the right way, but he doesn't have the life that we're used to with Shaolin Cowboy, where there's gags all over the place, and there's all sorts of manner of strangeness going on. But it's a really nice looking stuff here anyway. He's been sent to kill a rogue nun by the church, and he has a photo with him. I'm a two-dimensional photographic clone of Sister Mary Home and Garden implement, created for the sole purpose of identifying myself for immediate execution as prescribed by the Universal Church. Please disclose all knowledge of her whereabouts, as your cooperation is mandatory. Bless you for your help. So he's been sent by the church to kill this rogue nun who's gone out and opened a restaurant and is cooking for the masses, but is rarely seen, and we'll find out why that is. She kind of hands out recipes to the cooks from a back room for them to prepare. So our guy leaps into action. Bourbon Thret leaps into action here, and we do get some kind of classic Darrow here for sure. But again, it's not up to the same level, even though it's still pretty dense paneling. Man, I apologize. This lighting is really shitty. Hopefully you're getting a good sense of it anyway. Yeah, and again, a lot of the characters, even in this one, they sort of have very similar mid-run poses. So he just really, it's cool to see this earlier stuff, just to see how much he's developed. Because I feel like when you're seeing these mass scenes in Shaolin Cowboy, there's people in all sorts of mid-run or getting up or falling over type of actions. So we get a taste of a little bit of a fight scene here. This does not go on 10 pages or anything. It's over pretty damn quick, because we get to where this nun is, sitting and taking a shit, reading the paper. The photo slides under the door, and our man busts in. And in this one, Bourbon Thret has a lot of arf, arf, and meows, is the way that he speaks throughout this. And he offs her. And is on his merry way, leaving the carnage behind, as you would expect. No big surprise there for sure. So really great. I'm glad I found it. Surprised I found it. I mean, it was worth a hunt for sure, worth the drive down. But I'm really glad I found it. I was looking on Comic Vine, and apparently this is the only heavy metal that he did. He did obviously stuff for Cheval Noir and Dark Horse Presents, and went on to do other things, working in animation and etc. So not a bad issue overall, though. So like I said, I think now I've completed 1984, and I've got a couple of issues from 1985 of heavy metal. I really want to try to get fill in those gaps from like 1983 and 1981. Because this era is not ones that I really have focused on in the past, and they're still really just chock full of some really good stuff. There's even Skoitzen in here with a chapter of Samaris, which is pretty fantastic. There's always a couple of there's always a couple of pieces that are a little less interesting. Pepe Moreno here. Of course, Mr. Charles Byrne with El Borba, which is always beautiful to see his work, especially in this magazine size. Yeah, this is one that this is the one here. This Rod Kierkegaard Jr. Just doesn't appeal to me. I feel like he's in every issue of heavy metal that I've ever read, and if not, damn near all of them. And they're always the same. I always end up flipping past them. Texarkana, chapter 18 of Texarkana. I've got the collected version of this. This is great stuff. Really solid art. Some interviews. We'll skip past that section. We're not here for the articles. we're here for the raw art. Milo Manara. Let's get to the Scoiton. I think it's up next. Yeah, here we go. Collector's items. Oh man. Does it have? Oh yeah, it does have prices over here. $5, $5, $4, $3. Yeah, not bad. It's a good heavy metal price. It's gone up a lot here. Usually 12 to 15. Wow, that's crazy, man. Even for stuff in 80s and 90s, I can see maybe like early ones, but that's wild for it to be that much. Yeah, look how beautiful this is. So this will be great. I've got the Samaras collected edition 2, I believe. I'm sure I do. It'd be good to sit side by side with this and see how the coloring differs, see what it's like. Yeah, so that is that. We'll quickly, since I'm here, I'll just kind of flip through the covers of the rest of them that I've got. Let's move this one out of the way. April 1984. May 1984. Nice ones. I don't know. I just keep coming back to heavy metal. It sits in a really good spot. So where I'm usually kind of facing, where my camera usually is when I do the Sunday streams, there's a little table that I've got there, a little side table. Well, I can probably show you. Up. So down there is where I keep all my heavy metal magazines. So they're always very much in reach, and I've got a few out because I was reading them as well recently. So they're always easily reachable. A very nice spot as I destroy what's left of my camera mount almost. Joan Jett looking babe here from July 1984. August. September. Heavy Metals 1984 Music Video Award winners. Beautiful. And November. Oh boy. Interview with director John Waters. That's fantastic. I love John Waters. And then January 1985. So I think this finishes off my 1984. So the weird thing about where they were doing this is volume, whatever it is, volume 8 or something, these issues. So I have the completed volume 8. I'm not sure if there's any in early 84 that I'm missing. I don't think so. So I think I've finished off that year. And then February 1985. So yeah, fantastic stuff. Bourbon Thret. Jeff Darrow. If you haven't watched that kayfabe, it's well worth your time. It's a long one. It's like 2 hours. I think I watched it over 3 different sittings. I thought it was great. It's good to kind of hear right from the artist's mouth. I really like these videos they've been doing lately. They did a couple of issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like that as well. And they did The Killing Joke. And of course, they've done Watchmen, a couple of issues of Watchmen and stuff in the past. So I hope they continue going on this route. As much as I do miss their kind of deep interviews with some of the people, these are still really fun because some really good stories come out of it too. And you get to kind of sit page by page with the artist kind of talking about their work, which is always great. So that's it. Thanks very much. And we'll talk to you.